That was fun. Let that vibration resound through our energy fields, stilling us and filling us with the love of God. I welcome you, those few of us who braved the smoky morning in the sanctuary, and I welcome all of those who are here with us on Zoom. This is our blue moon in Aquarius, a full moon, blue moon in Aquarius Sunday. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I learned a little bit about it this morning. As I welcome you, I want to give you a gentle reminder to turn your cell phones to silent. I know I have to be reminded of that. My name is Clara Palmerino, and I'll be your platform assistant this morning. And it certainly is a pleasure and an honor to do this. So our first order of business is to light the Christ candle. In the beginning was the one presence of the undivided and unmanifest, pure spirit of life, light, and love. In its generosity, it shared itself, its consciousness, and its love in the visible form of creation. We acknowledge this presence within us and as us, the creative energy of the divine, feminine and masculine, expressing in all our giftedness and creativity. We acknowledge this presence in our companion, Mother Earth, and in all sentient beings. This universal presence in everything we call the Christ. We light this candle as a visible reminder of that Christ presence, expressing in, as, and through us in this present now moment. It is the truth. Let us own it. And now we have a real treat. We're seeing Gabriel front and center as singer and musician, leading us in our first song. Go, Gabriel.
Okay.
You'd like to stand?
I am free. I am free. I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited right now. Right now. I am free. I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited right now. Right now. I am free, I am unlimited, there are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited, there are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited, there are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited, there are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now.
Thank you. Well, normally the platform assistant does not do the invocation, but through a series of spirit-led thoughts and reflections and conversations, it turns out that's what I'm doing today. So Patricia, here we go. You know, Eckhart Tolle and many spiritual teachers talk about the distinction between the small self and the deep I presence. And the small self is our personality self that carries our ego and our history and our story. And the higher self is that eternal part of ourselves that is always in peace, that is always in love, that is always in the field of no judgment. And I've been learning more and more about how the small self and the higher self really work together. I think many of us hear the message that the ego is bad and full of its own needs and guides us into things that aren't for our highest good. And what I've been learning is that the ego has a part to play in our life. The ego, we need the ego to organize our grocery list, and we need the ego to book a plane flight and do all the things that have to be done, pay the bills. But the ego, when it gets us into trouble, is when the ego takes the lead in our lives. So how do we get the ego out of the driver's seat and into the back seat and let the higher self take the lead? And that's what I wanted to talk to you about this morning, is this idea that it is possible for the higher self to express through us more and more and more. The teaching of Way of Mastery, the teaching of the Course of Love, and more recently for me, the teachings from the Paul Selig books are all telling us the same thing, and that is that the purpose of our life on earth is to be a manifestation of God, to allow the divine to manifest in form. In the Course of Love, they call this, there's a whole chapter called the higher self in form, and it's about just this idea of allowing the higher self to take the lead. And so I wanted to share with you a practice that can be applied in all aspects of your life. If you're entering into a difficult conversation with a loved one, if you are just simply planning your day, if you are having to go into a difficult meeting. And that is this practice of surrendering the small self, surrendering the story. So purposely saying, I surrender, with the idea that that means small self, get into the back seat. And inviting the higher self to take the forefront, to be in the driver's seat. And so this can be done with 2 words. I surrender. I guess it's going to be 4 words. I surrender and I shift. And so the surrendering sends the small self into the back seat, and the shift brings the higher self into the steering wheel, the driver's seat. Now, a simpler way to think about this might be moving from the mind, from the head to the heart. I think that's a very simple way to think about it as well. So what I'd like to do this morning is to invite each of you, for the next hour, shift, just with intention, say, I surrender, I shift. And see how long you can let the higher self be in the driver's seat. If you find yourself planning what you're going to do after service, the ego's crawled over the seat and back into the driver's seat. So you can just do it again. We just choose again. I choose to shift. I choose to go into the heart. And for this morning, I will hear the music from my heart. I will sing the songs from my heart. I will listen and take in the message this morning from the heart. So with that, we move into our prayer time. And holding those individuals on our prayer list, I do urge you to move from your head to your heart and just bring these names into your heart space. And we affirm them in their wholeness, in their completeness, in their higher self. Let the higher self be more and more expressed in each one of our loved ones on this prayer list. We pray for Sean Bartlett, Bob Castro, Barbara McCarthy, Christy Souza, Dale Frank, Andy Homan and his family for a peaceful transition, Charlie and Will McBride, Geraldine Wood, all of those affected by the fires in California, across the United States, and all over the world. Gwen Bennett, congregant here who lost her home in the river fire, all of the firefighters and their families, Denise Mazzetti and family, Angela and Greg, a family special intention, Tyler and family, Cynthia Robertson, Aaron Robbins, Paul Spoto, Judy, Pat, Joshua, and Lila, Joan Crady, and Penny and Dennis Matthews. We hold you all in our hearts. And now we have the reading of the daily word, and this is a special one selected by Patricia Haller for this particular service today. In a silent time with God, I know God's tender touch. So the words to savor in our hearts are tender touch. Entering into a silent time with God means turning away from outer activity, taking a deep breath and fully relaxing into a state of calmness. In silence, I go beyond quiet repose. I am ushered into a place of inner stillness where I commune with God. In this place of stillness and communion, I know the tender touch of God, which fills my body and stills my mind. I feel the warm glow of God's love rising gently within, soothing and healing my body, mind, and emotions. I know and understand God's unconditional love for me. In silence with God, I remember who I am. I am filled with a peace that passes all understanding. From this place, I return to my daily living and savor the fullness of my life. The daily word for today is tender touch. And if you will please stay seated, Gabriel will lead us in a song.
In the silence, in the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends, good is there. In the light now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there. Peace is there. Truth is there. God is there.
Thank you, Gabriel. That is absolutely perfect. So good morning, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. My talk title today is Healing is in the Stillness. You know, we all want healing of some sort, and that could just be for health, it could be finances, relationships. There's so many different areas where we could want or desire healing. The beautiful part about living in the world we live in today is that we have such access to all sorts of information to keep ourselves healthy, physically, emotionally, spiritually, every which way. You know, there are thousands of books out there now that we can read. We have access to YouTubes now, which we didn't even have 10 or 20 years ago. We have classes, we have conferences, we have so many different avenues through which we can receive information for whatever type of healing we're looking for. We even have healers of all different type of healing modalities that can help us keep ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually healthy and going. And personally, I feel it is essential to use these modalities to help us get healthy and stay healthy. You know, for anything that needs healing on this earth plane, we have someone or something out there to help us. And living on this face of this earth at this time, to me, those things are critical. You know, when we come to this earth, we learn to walk and talk, we learn to read and write, subtract, add. We learn to shop, we learn to cook, we even learn to clean house, some people anyway, to garden. We go to school and we learn how to form sentences. We learn to do logical thinking. We learn to play sports. We learn to keep our bodies healthy. And as we go through years and years of schooling, we learn very intricate details that help us to walk the face of this earth. But the key thing here is that we are learning to do things on how to live and work on this earth plane of existence. So all the teachers, the books, the YouTubes, the conferences that we have at our disposal are absolutely critical to our being here on earth in a conscientious and healthy way. You know what? We actually can't survive down here easily and peacefully if it weren't for all of those different aspects and modalities that we have access to. But still, even though we've done all of those things, there is something else that we need to do in order to fully have the healing that we desire. And that's something that we have to connect to is source. You know, we live in this third dimensional earth plane of existence where all these other modalities and things are so important, yet underlying all of this is an energy source of the supreme source of all. It's the giver of life. It's the one source, God. Because the energy of source moves through all things, all people, animals, plants, water, earth, the rocks, everything. That source, we say in unity, is omnipresent, everywhere present, present in, around, and through all things everywhere. And actually, this source, it's actually omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresent. It's all power, all knowledge, everywhere present in everything that is active in our world today. You know, we can spend all of our time reading, looking things up online, listening to YouTubes, or doing whatever it is that we're doing and looking to the outside world for the answers. And some of those answers are there. And yet the greatest answers that we can get are from within our own selves and our connection to source. The beautiful part about all of this is that we don't need to be reading a book or watching YouTubes, going to conferences or anything else in order to make this connection to source. All we need to do is to find ourselves a nice, quiet place, take a deep breath, and just go to that quiet place within. Just become still. And that's it. That's all you have to do. If you want to do guided meditations to help you relax and get to that inner place, there are hundreds and thousands of YouTubes that will take you anywhere and help you with anything. And believe me, I have been listening to a lot of those this last week. And all of these meditations can actually help assist you in getting to that still small place inside where you connect with the source of your being. Joel Goldsmith once wrote a book called The Thunder of Silence. And he wrote this book to share with us that there is an inner source that's available to all of us that does not operate through force or pressure. It only operates when we become quiet and still. It works its wonders when we stop searching, reaching, and thinking our way into it. There are still so many people on this earth today that aren't aware of it, or the fact that we can reach it by grace alone. You don't have to make repetition for anything. You don't have to do anything. As I was growing up, I was in the Catholic Church, and it's 5 Our Fathers and 5 Hail Marys, and then you can go do this. You don't have to do any of that. The very moment that you stop and you take a deep breath, you are in contact with it. And when we do make conscious contact with it, it can bring everything to us that is necessary for us to reach our own personal, highest spiritual potential and our deepest, most personal healing of any sort. When we truly understand that God is good, that God itself is health, it's abundance, joy, love, and so much more, then we can realize that our highest spiritual potential is to be the full expression of all these things on this earth. Goldsmith once wrote that there is a price, though, as this grace of God operates only when we are willing to relinquish faith in anything and everything that is less than God itself. And that means that we not only have to surrender all of our thoughts and feelings of judgments and condemnations, angers, frustrations, whatever, but also about what we think is possible in this world. And basically, we just have to stop having thoughts about anything and do as the Way of Mastery states, that since every event is neutral, we have no judgment about it. When we can become still and become aware of the presence within us, we can make that shift from being a thinking human mind to a mind, as Goldsmith wrote, that rests in the state of awareness of the Christ within. And by practicing the state of awareness with our God source, we can learn to live to be in the world, but not of the world. And once we begin to truly meditate every day, we can then have that full connection to the grace of God to come into our lives and balance our lives out in all the ways that need balancing. The ways we know of and the ways we have no idea of. You know, I remember seeing in a Joe Dispenza conference once where he set up 50 or 60 metronomes. You know, those little things you sit on top of the piano that help you keep time with your music? Well, he had all these set up. And then he just went through and started them all going. And of course, they're all over the place. They're not connected at all. They're just ticking around. But as we watched, they all began to get synchronized. And it only took a couple minutes, but after a while, all these metronomes all of a sudden just started, every single one of them was in sync together. Now, he likened this to our energy field. And he said that whatever we're thinking about, whenever we have a thought or a feeling, we're actually just disrupting one of our own energetic metronomes. So every thought we think, every feeling we feel is causing one or more of these energetic metronomes to go out of sync around us. Yet when you go into the stillness, into the silence, where we're putting our full attention on the Christ within, our minds, our thinking stops. Our feelings stop. Everything stops except our concentration on our breathing, on the light, on the Christ within, whatever it is that we learn to focus on. And within moments, our own personal metronomes start syncing up again. And when that happens, that's when the energetic healing of all of our affairs begins to take place. There's nothing at all to disrupt the full energetic connection that we have with Source. It all flows together. Joel Goldsmith wrote that if we are fed by meditation in the blessed silence that thunders with truth, we can live by the grace of God as the light of the world. Ernest Holmes once wrote, God speaks to us in the space between two thoughts. And in his book, The Power of Silence, Holmes wrote, the experience of solitude is necessary because only in solitude, stillness, and silence is the living God revealed as the binding source of all that is. The veil is lifted and we begin to see the wonderful possibilities of life together that surround and inhabit us. This means that we can affirm that we are God's handiwork, that God's image has marked us forever, that the most real thing about us is the Spirit who dwells in every human heart. We are peculiar beings whose very beingness has been designed to be inhabited by nothing less than the living God. It is through the power of silence that God can inhabit us. And Father Thomas Keating, who is called a modern-day Christian mystic, wrote, "The language of God is silence. Everything else is a poor translation." Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore once wrote, "In the midst of all experience, whether we label it spiritual or human, is silence. Silence is the ground of all being, all healing, all oneness." Charles started his practice of the silence actually in the pursuit of truth. He wanted to move beyond all the contradictions and paradoxes that he was seeing and reading about. And he said, if I am spirit, and this God they talk so much about is spirit, then somehow we can communicate, or the whole thing is a fraud. And that's when he began to become still and sit in the silence every evening for just an hour to get in touch with God. But he also wanted to know if this God that everyone spoke of as a God who could heal him. And of course, for those of us who know the history of Unity, Charles's leg at that point was all shriveled up, very short. He had to wear a brace. He had to wear a shoe with this huge section on the bottom because of his short leg. But just by sitting in the silence and as he says, just communing only with God, his leg did heal. It grew to about 3/4 of an inch shorter than the other one, from, 5 or 6 inches shorter. It became healthy. He was able to take off his brace. We all know that Myrtle healed herself of tuberculosis by sitting in the silence. And actually, there are hundreds of thousands of stories out there of people who have been healed of some issue, not all of them physical, just by spending time in the silence, in the stillness, just sitting one with God. And like any spiritual practice, of course, becoming still and doing silent meditation has to be experienced. It has to be committed to and practiced over and over and over again. The more time we spend there, the more time we practice, the greater our sense of ease. It's actually developing a skill set, and ultimately, it becomes as natural as breathing. Fillmore once wrote, "The intention of becoming still and sitting in silent meditation is for the conscious contact with God. We sit still to set aside all the distractions of the world and to connect deeply with the essence of our being. Practicing the silence connects our conscious mind with God, the all that is. And as we align in consciousness, as we swim in the ocean of silence, we develop a conscious inner awareness. We experience the silence as the constant, abiding foundation of all that arises and falls away in this world. We see the play of consciousness for what it is and align with the eternal. We see with new eyes, hear with new ears. We live what is described as the peace that passes all understanding. And later on, he wrote, as we swim in the ocean of silence, all that keeps us disconnected from source is washed away. All that we have within us that is blocking the fullness of who we are is washed away. All thoughts that are less than our fullness with God are washed away. All that is connected us to our humanness is washed away. And when all is washed away, all that is left is the full awareness of our oneness with God. Ernest Holmes once wrote, we have within us a power that is greater than anything we will ever connect in the outer. A power that can overcome every obstacle in our life and set us free, satisfied and at peace, healed and prosperous in a new light, in a new life. All the power of the universe is in you. Feel it, know it, and then act as if it were true. Since the only life you have is the life of the Spirit within you, you need but permit its radiance to flow through you into self-expression. You are surrounded by a dynamic force, a great surge of living power. You are immersed in and saturated with the vital essence of life. All its presence permeates everything, binding all together in one complete whole. And there is only one thing you need to do, and that is to become still. Still your mind, still your body, still your emotions, and allow the world around you to become nothing. Just go into the depths of the stillness within your own being. And in the silence is the all that is. And I know for some, it is hard to find time each day to sit in that stillness, to sit in the silence. There's so many distractions around us, so many things calling us. And one day, as I was once again doing something else, I had to stop and ask myself, what if my life depended on this? What if by doing this, I would stay alive, whole and healthy? And if I didn't do it, that would actually be the end of me. Everything I had been reading states that by doing this, my life would be better, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, every other which way. And I really had to ask myself, do I want that? Or do I want to stay in the struggle of life? Did I want all the good of God to flow to me and through me? Or was I so comfortable with the struggle that I had been going through for years and years and years that I actually couldn't give that struggle up? So I chose, although believe it or not, it was hard at first, but I chose to allow the God source that I am to open and flow more fully in my life. And I became aware as I moved through life that I waste a lot of time doing things that are not really necessary, and definitely not as important as my connection with Source. And so now I spend more and more time every day in meditation. Sometimes in the silence, if that's what I'm desiring. Sometimes in a meditation that I find online. I can just go through the YouTubes and all of a sudden find one and I really like it and I sit and listen to it. I have meditation CDs that I love to listen to. And sometimes I just put on soft music that doesn't have any words, but it's just soft, beautiful music that calms my soul. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're listening to, where you're at. It's about finding the time to just sit and be still and be one with Source for a period of time during your day. I've even been known to be doing the dishes and all of a sudden just stand there with my eyes closed, just breathing in and out, saying thank you to God. Thank you for everything I have. Just thank you. That's meditation also. So I'd like us to take this into a time of meditation. I'm going to invite you just to sit back and relax. Place your feet flat on the floor with your hands comfortable on your lap. Now take a beautiful, deep breath in and gently let it out. Take another beautiful, deep breath in. And once again, just gently let it out. Feel your body relax. As you take another beautiful deep breath in, feel yourself opening to spirit. And as you let it out, just feel all the tension in your body leaving through the breath. One more time. As you take a deep breath in, feel yourself connecting to the source of your being. And as you breathe out, just let the tension leave your body. Find yourself relaxing deeper into the chair you're sitting on. With each breath you take in, and each breath you let out, you feel more and more comfortable and more relaxed. I invite you to say the words, I am. Just softly in the inner part of your own being. I am. I am is the name of God, the name of Source, the name of the Creator. The words I am contain everything that God is. God is life. God is peace. God is the health in all the areas of our life that we desire. We take our minds and our thoughts off of what we desire to be healed. God, Source, already knows all our wants, all our needs, and all our desires. God, Source, knows what we desire to have healed in our life. Just using the words, I am, automatically brings that healing to the area we desire. I am is the wisdom that flows through our mind. I am is the peace that our hearts desire. I am is that which heals all things, balances all our energies, and brings our life into the perfection as God sees it. The I am brings all the good in life that is ours. So we continue to take our minds off that which we desire healing for, and we place our full attention on the I am presence that is in us, as us. Jesus once stated, peace, be still, and know that I am God. I am. I am. I am. And so it is. Thank you, God. Amen and amen. And when you're ready, just slowly move your body. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs, and come back to this time and this place. And staying in this place of peace and stillness, let's say our power statement for August together. The power statement for August is the power of will. And let's join together. I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. And I'm going to add to that, to be willing to be one with Source. And this brings us time for our love offering. Because of the COVID situation, we do not have ushers today. However, we do have 3 baskets out. I have a basket over here by where Gabriel is. I have a basket right here, and I have a basket in back. So let's join together by holding our love offerings over our hearts. And if you've already given for this month, just imagine what you have given and place it into your hand and hold that over your heart together. So let's join together in saying our love offering. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And now Gabriel will share with us some special music. Love is my decision.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. There's no one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. There's no one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. There's no one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Thank you, Gabriel. And we have a few announcements today. Of course, our first announcement is 2021 is a year of renewal, transformation, awakening, healing, and wonder. Hallelujah. And some of you have already heard that our own beautiful Joan Oliver has made her transition. And so to honor and remember her, a circle of friends and family will be gathering here at Unity on Friday, September 10th at 10:30 in the morning. And this is going to be a fun, casual, heartfelt gathering just to share memories and stories of Joan and her presence in our lives. And please plan to wear a mask. Chairs will be put into a nice big spacey circle. and there will be a few refreshments afterwards. And instead of trying to schedule everyone to come in at once to help keep our beautiful outside area nice and clean and gorgeous, we're asking you to just adopt a bed. And it's yours to keep up on your schedule. It's just trimming and weeding, maybe just some general tending to, because our master gardeners, Sydney and Richard, are going to take care of feeding everything and of all the additional schedules if you're unable to be here for a stretch of time. We would love to keep our property up and looking gorgeous outside for people. So please let us know, as it says here, what little piece of heaven you want to claim. So a new group for the Way of Mastery is starting on September 13th, beginning at 6:45 in the evening. And it looks like we may also have a day group. We'll be on Mondays, likely at 1 o'clock, and that will be Zoom only. The sign-up sheets for both are on the table in the back of the sanctuary. So we have several congregants who are willing to welcome evacuees into their homes if necessary. And if you are willing to take someone in, if they need to evacuate, you can call Leslie and give her your information. We'll need your address, phone number, the number of people that you can accommodate, if you can take pets, what size, what type. We do have some who have already volunteered, but just in case, we may need more. The Inspiring Women group have placed their meetings on hold due to the high COVID situation. And of course, as always, we always need volunteers here. There's so many different things, not only for Sunday services, but there's little things to do around the center that would help Leslie out in different ways. Having had her job, I know how absolutely overwhelming it can be at times. So if anybody would like to give a helping hand there too, please let her know. And we are awaiting approval of our application to adopt a highway. So we would love for you to sign up to help us with that. Once again, call Leslie and let her know if you're interested. You can do it once, you can do it all 4 times. It looks like we're going to do it like every 3 months or so. So you can do it one time, you can do it whatever works for you for that. And change for change. We want your change. If you have too much in your pocket, just put it into the little baskets. And we're collecting for nonprofit entities. C4C recipient for July and August is Habitat for Humanity. And it says, Leslie is counting on your change, so don't let her down. Today, there will be no refreshments due to the COVID situation. And because of the smoke and all, we're asking people just to, namaste each other and to leave quietly. The center actually has a lot of smoke in it today. And so, go home and get into your place where you might get out of some of this. So let's all stand and let's say our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, because I am, and all is well. And now just stay standing as we sing our closing song, I choose love.
Here we go. Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are part of each other. We are one tie that binds us that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. And let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because we choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. We choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one. We choose love. We choose love. We choose love.
Thank you all for being here today. God bless each and every one of you. We love you all. Oh, you are welcome.